What is up, Vigilantes? Welcome back to a brand new Arrow video. Now this is for episode 7, Purgatory, which kind of felt, to be honest, like a farewell-y kind of episode to Arrow, because I felt like as much as what did happen in this episode, it felt like things didn't happen, because it also felt like it surrounded the entire episode with a lot of sentimentality, a lot of goodbyes, a lot of crisis setup, which, you know, isn't a bad thing at all. It just felt like it wasn't one of the more episodes of Arrow that provided a whole bunch of spectacle this episode as what other episodes have done, especially like the first few of the season, but at the same time it was still containing some really cool important moments, especially with like the official arrival of Harbinger, which I knew she was acting differently. I mean, we all knew that Lila was going to become Harbinger anyway, but in those previous trailers, she was kind of speaking differently, and after obviously going through that breach portal towards the end of this episode and having that transformation, she's still Lila, and then she's Harbinger now, but she's also like kind of probably has this permanent change, which is why she's probably going to be acting a bit more, I don't know how to put it, a bit more robotic and absent of emotion almost. I mean, at least that's the way she's kind of come across in those trailers that we've seen her in. But, you know, enough of that. Before we get into this breakdown of the episode, everyone, be sure to like this video if you do go on to enjoy it. And, of course, subscribe to make sure you never miss out on an Arrowverse video. And more importantly as well, just one of the Crisis reviews that will be coming very, very soon. Because, you know, Crisis is basically here. Like, this episode ended just like the Flashes with the red skies. So, you know, shit is getting real. Like, it's getting real, really real. And I really can't wait. Also as well, guys, if you do watch The Flash, I have already got my Flash review up by the time you're watching this video, so I'll leave that on the cards above or on one of the video cards on the end of this video. So make sure you check out the mid-season finale for that as well, and my breakdown for that. So anyway, this episode, it started with Lila basically apologizing, you know, coming out of that tent for, you know, the tranq darts that she sprung upon Laurel, you know, Diggle and Oliver a couple of episodes back now. So it kind of skipped over that kind of alternate reality thing that Oliver went through last episode, and I was thinking, like, are they really not going to address like Diggle being mad at Lila here? And I'm really glad they did do that, because that would have felt super weird, because I mentioned in previous reviews, Diggle and Lila have had their fair share of secrets and drama like that, and that got explored like in an argument in front of Connor Hawke. So yeah, I just felt like that was important to kind of focus on for a little bit of this episode, just because, yeah, Lila working for the Monitor is quite a big secret to hold, especially how long this has been actually going on. She also revealed to us that Marnovu actually rescued her the day her unit was taken out all those years ago, and basically explains her recruitment overall and how their relationship was just working together to find the hero strong enough to stop the incoming crisis. So yeah, a little bit of background explanation there, which was cool. We've only got more interesting things to come from Lila, especially given the kind of ending to the episode. We'd also got other explanations, like everyone's missions up until this point have been serving a purpose, and that is to stop the crisis. Even Diggle was confused, thinking that Marnovu was the enemy, but nope, they were wrong about that. The Monitor is not the anti-Monitor, which was like theory crafting from the fan base earlier on. A lot of people were thinking that, oh, maybe they could be doing like a double take, a double spin, or a twist on the crisis story, but that was more just about the characters not really knowing about the anti-Monitor. It's quite interesting. I mean, I know that Marnovu or the Monitor works in mysterious ways, because there's not a lot of transparency, for example, on how everyone's preparing for this crisis event, but doesn't actually know. I mean, the Flash, people know it's like antimatter and everything like that, but nobody really knows who is doing this and why they're doing it, which is the anti-Monitor, and for some reason that can't really be revealed until it's actually happening. But for the longest time as well, there's been this focus on this weapon which Dr. Wong has been experimenting on with the dwarf star particles that Oliver acquired on Earth 2 way back in like episode 1. So all of this is mounted up until now, where at the end of the episode that weapon wasn't really a weapon, but it kind of was. It was just like a weird cosmic, another thing from the Monitor, all just for Lila. Wouldn't things just be a lot simpler if the Monitor was like, well, if you build this will then open a breach portal to turn you into the weapon. Like, this isn't an actual antimatter kind of grenade that you can use against the Monitor, anti-Monitor, sorry. This is something that turns you into the Harbinger for things to come. So, I don't know, I did enjoy the storyline this episode, like in how it brought back a lot of the purgatory elements, you know, or should I say ghosts, of Lian Yu, which is obviously Mandarin for purgatory, as Oliver pointed out in that really cool monologue at the beginning of this episode. But a lot of this episode just kind of went to and fro with rehashing and brushing up on a lot of various different Crisis things, which also just brings me to the Mia stuff. So initially I was like, oh great, they've done it again. She's starting to get a bit annoying, because I have said in previous reviews in how I'm starting to kind of enjoy her character and William's character in the present. Like, I wouldn't say I'm ecstatic about it. I wouldn't say even I'm a big fan or even a moderate fan, but I'm just glad that I'm getting on with those characters being in the present. But then we finally had that moment where Oliver decided to reveal to his children about what the heck this Crisis event is and why he dies. Obviously, Mia is not happy with that explanation. And then we had that Mia and William talk, and I agree with William, of course. Like, she's being a bit harsh in terms of how she was saying, like, dad just wants to be a hero first and then a dad second. But it's just like, do you realize if he doesn't do this, the whole multiverse, you just won't even exist? Why is that so hard to grasp? I don't know. But one thing I will say is that at the end of the episode, I know I'm going to and fro with this review, like connecting random points, but it's kind of relevant, I suppose. I am glad they kind of saved it for me with that emotional moment where Oliver was at the graves of Shadow and a few other people, where she kind of dropped all of it and spoke about the stories she heard growing up of the legendary Green Arrow and his team, and ultimately it was kind of like this reconciliation. She accepted things, and it's kind of like that really nice talk. I appreciate this scene between Mia and William where he was just like, well, if this really is it, like, wouldn't you rather just enjoy the time you have with him rather than just be angry? So yeah, I think, we can grab that now, all that Mia like baggage, and put it to the side, because even though we got that moment of where like we yet again this felt like a finale in the sense that where Oliver was saying goodbye to Diggle, he made sure to tell Diggle, can you please take the kids to 2040 before all of this crap happens, essentially, one way or another. And he was like, don't worry, I'll get them there safe. And the reason why I mention that is because we know that Mia is going to be in Crisis, so that somehow fails. Maybe it's because the Red Skies are already here, so they don't even have time to bring him back to 2040. But we know from various photos, trailers, that Mia is still very much so like fighting against shadow demons and many other things. So she's going to be there, but I'm just glad the baggage is aside. And now finally, I feel like a lot of us viewers who have been a bit irritated and frustrated by that angst, even though I do get it, don't get me wrong, I do get where they were coming from and where her feelings were coming from, but I don't feel like it was executed the best way. I'm just glad that now I can enjoy this father and daughter moments going into Crisis, whether that's where they're battling together and there's going to be nice moments. She's going to be going into that accepting that her father's going to die, and she won't be all Mia whiny about it. And also this will allow me to enjoy that final goodbye moment between them both. Whenever that happens, or however that happens, or however Oliver dies, you would have to think they're going to factor Mia into that quite a bit, and I'll be able to enjoy it because there won't be any BS there. I mean, imagine how bad that would be if she starts having to go at her dad as he's dying for the multiverse. I wouldn't put it past Mia. But no, obviously that's not going to happen. But yeah, I don't know about you, but I feel like the explanation, sometimes they do this in shows, just Arrowverse shows in general. Like, for example, the explanation for the island even being there was very brushed over. It was just like, there's been, in the past few days, the island has seen some few energy spikes. And, Oliver was like, well, I'm guessing that's the reason why, there's a whole bunch of green here, whereas, Adrian Chase blew it up. And that was basically it. Like, the islands just pop back up. Like, I don't think I'm missing anything there. This isn't a massive, criticism anyway. I don't really care, like, because it served for like a cool story with bringing back like Billy Wintergreen, Fires, Yao Fei. This is what I mean. Like, there wasn't so much spectacle in this episode, but it was a lot of past callbacks and stuff like that, which made things sentimental to keep echoing throughout this review for Oliver, to that point of realization in that conversation we've already discussed briefly with Mia and Oliver, saying how he used to hate this place, but it kind of turned into this new thing for him. Of course, as well, guys, with Renee, Dinah, and Roy coming to the islands, that's where we got quite a comic book cool thing with Roy, even though I feel very sorry for him, but his arm got amputated, and even like dropped even like further Easter eggs with hinting how he would get that prosthetic arm because he's been set up with the fancy Argus guys. So yeah, a lot of interesting things. Also just like timeline repercussions as well, and how it is is going to be different, because in that conversation with Oliver and Diggle, he wanted to make sure that he told Felicity to not have William growing up separate from Mia. Like, they deserve to grow up together. So it's like so many different things. And to add on that as well, you know, we had William try and give the I forgot what it's even called, little arrowhead to Roy, and he was just saying, no, I don't need it. Like, it just looks like he's not going to go to Lian Yu. So like, who knows how different things are going to be in the future. And I'm just more fascinated as well. Like, won't things be different for these characters? Maybe you could argue they wouldn't be if William grew up with Mia. I'm just saying, like, little changes can have apparently monumental butterfly effects, yet they've already done that. Yet I'm guaranteeing that William and Mia are gonna still be the same people in the future. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like they're ignoring little things like that. But yeah, by the point we're at now, all the changes that have already been set in place for the future would already have such huge repercussions that I guess we're just glistening over it a little bit. And yeah, I know, like, this review of mine has been kind of all over the place. It's because, as I said at the beginning, this episode was like, as much as it offered in stuff, because there was stuff there, it was also just like there are not a whole bunch going on at the same time, to the point where you can sum it down to a couple of sentences, to be honest. Went to the island, thought they were making a weapon for Crisis. Turns out after that weapon had drained the energy of the island, it was DNA activated. They thought it was Oliver, but nope, it was Lila. And it turns out it wasn't a weapon. And through Diggle's line saying, well, does this make you the weapon? It turns out Lila's the weapon. And she went through and had this transformation, you know, after going through that breach into becoming Harbinger. And then, of course, that essentially brings us to the end, where she arrives as Harbinger and Crisis is here. Just like the Flash, it is already here, because the next episodes, in case you somehow don't know this, is Crisis on Infinite Earth. So yeah, you know, I'm excited, as already said, to see more from Lila, because it was really just set up for her to transform fully into Harbinger, even though she's already been working with Marnovi for the longest time now. I guess it did resolve quite a few other things, you know, in terms of between Oliver and Mia. We had some brotherly cool moments with Diggle and Oliver, and just a few other things like that. You know, there wasn't gigantic evolutionary steps, because I feel like we're already there. Like, we're already there at Crisis, and the next step is to actually open that door into it, which we're doing next week, which is just crazy to say. So overall, like, this episode, it was a good episode. It felt like, you know, a finale to Arrow, because considering, you know, we've got the backdoor pilot coming up and things like that, I don't know, you know, if what we're gonna get. You know, obviously that's gonna be set up for that show, but what else are we gonna get in terms of actual Arrow-ness? Do you know what I'm trying to say there? Because, you know, Oliver's gotta make that sacrifice, and I know we've got a little bit to wait for that. But yeah, this episode was just kind of probably the last Arrow-centrical kind of episode we're probably going to get for the season, I'm guessing. I mean, I don't know definitively, but good episode. Not my favorite episode. Had some decent moments, but I would love to know your thoughts on it down in the comments below, guys. As always, let me know all of your opinions on my opinions, but also if you have any speculation that could lead into Crisis as well, I would love to hear that. Other than that, everyone, if you did enjoy this video, go ahead and like it, as it really does show your support for the channel. Make sure you do subscribe, as I said, to make sure you never miss out on a future video. I would love to talk about Crisis on Infinite Earths with you guys personally outside all of this, because I do have a Discord server. I'll leave that link in the top pinned comment, as always. It would be great to hear some of you, you know, voice your thoughts on Crisis and just Arrow episodes in the Arrow channel of my Discord server. But other than that, everyone, check out my Flash review if you haven't done so already. That should be appearing alongside me with another video here. But thank you so much for watching, guys. Hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you vigilantes in the next video. Goodbye.